Hey everyone, and welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into something I know a lot of you have been asking about,
Oh, yeah.
early marriage.
Okay.
So we're going to be exploring how tying the knot early can impact your personal growth and your career aspirations. We've got tons of great research lined up for you guys. We're going to be talking about real life stories and all that fun stuff.
You know, this is a topic that sparks a lot of debate,
Oh, for sure.
and there's definitely no shortage of opinions.
Yeah.
But for our purposes, when we're talking about early marriage, we'll be generally considering like late teens to early 20s. But remember, this isn't about judgment at all.
Right.
It's about understanding
Yeah.
the unique journey that some people choose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, are people actually getting married earlier these days or later? It seems like there are a lot of different opinions about when is the right time.
Yeah. I think societal views on marriage have for sure shifted a lot, even in the last decade or two. Data shows that across many Western cultures, people are actually getting married later and later. Like the average age has been steadily creeping up.
Okay.
But it's not a universal trend for sure. Like cultural and socioeconomic factors play a huge role. You know, in some communities, early marriage is still very much the norm.
Right. It's all about context.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what are the cultural influences around you
For sure.
that totally shapes your worldview?
It really does. Like in some cultures, it's practically woven into the fabric of society.
Right.
You know, it's seen as this totally natural transition into adulthood.
Yeah.
But then you look at other cultures and it's like, whoa, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Like, why are you rushing into such a huge commitment?
Yeah.
You're not ready. So you see these wildly different opinions.
Oh, totally. I can only imagine what family dinners are like in some of these situations.
Oh, well, right.
But okay, so let's say you do decide to get married young.
Okay.
What are some of the unique opportunities
Oh, yeah.
or challenges that come with that?
Well, just imagine embarking on your self-discovery journey with a partner
Okay.
right there by your side.
Yeah.
You've got this built-in support system. You're
Yeah.
facing all these new challenges together, and you're building a life from the ground up as a team.
Ah,
That can be so incredibly bonding,
yeah.
you know, and create this really strong sense of partnership.
It sounds amazing,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it's not always easy.
Oh, of course not.
Are there downsides to kind of merging your life with someone else's
Yeah.
at such a young age?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges is navigating the delicate balance
Okay.
between we and me.
That makes sense.
Because when you marry young, you're still figuring out who you are
Right.
as an individual.
Yeah.
So it's crucial to make sure that both partners feel supported in pursuing their own personal growth, even as they're growing together
Got it.
as a couple.
So how do you actually find that balance, though?
Well, it all starts with open and honest communication.
Okay.
And I'm not just talking about like everyday chit-chat. You need to be able to have those deep, sometimes difficult conversations about hopes, fears, aspirations.
Oh, so like really checking in with each other
Yes.
about your goals and dreams,
That's-
and making sure you're still on the same page as you evolve
Exactly.
as individuals.
Yes. And it's not just about talking.
Yeah.
It's about actively listening and
Yeah.
being willing to compromise. Because early marriage requires a heightened level of understanding and flexibility. You know,
Yeah.
you're both going through so much personal growth at the same time.
That's a lot to juggle.
Yeah, it is.
But I want to go back to the potential upsides for a second.
Yeah.
Because I feel like marrying young also means you have more time to build that life together.
Yeah.
You know, maybe even achieve some incredible things as a team.
Oh, absolutely. One of the most compelling benefits is the potential for shared ambition.
Oh, I like that.
When you have a supportive partner who shares your drive and vision, you can accomplish really amazing things together. I mean, we've seen it time and again with successful entrepreneurial couples who started out young
Yeah.
and they were able to leverage their combined energy and talents to build something extraordinary.
I love that idea of building an empire together.
Yeah.
But I imagine starting a life together so young also comes with its share of financial pressures.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Financial strain is definitely a very real concern for
Right.
a lot of young couples. Because starting your careers while simultaneously building a life together often means starting from scratch financially.
Right.
And that can put pressure on couples to prioritize stability
Well,
over passion,
yeah.
potentially leading them to make choices that maybe don't align with their long-term dreams.
That's a really tough reality. to
Yeah.
face.
It is.
Especially when you're young and you have all these big dreams and aspirations.
Exactly.
And it makes you wonder how you can balance that need for security
Yeah.
with the desire to pursue your passions.
It's hard.
It's like this constant juggling act.
It really is. And then if you add kids into the mix,
Oh my gosh.
that juggling act becomes even more complex.
Yeah.
Trying to balance marriage work and parenthood early on can be incredibly demanding.
Oh, for sure.
It requires serious organization time management skills and a willingness to adapt and just make adjustments as needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of real life experiences, you mentioned earlier that we have some really interesting stories to share.
Yes.
Did you have a chance to talk to some couples who chose this path
Yes, we did.
of early marriage?
Yeah.
I'm really curious to hear what their experiences were like.
Yeah, so we had the opportunity to chat with a few couples who tied the knot early on. And their stories are just fascinating.
Awesome.
They're so insightful.
Mm.
And some of them share these amazing stories about shared growth, unwavering support, and just this feeling of having a true partner by their side through thick and thin.
That's amazing.
It is so great to hear.
But I'm guessing not all the stories were quite so rosy.
Well, you're right. We definitely heard from some couples who faced some significant challenges. Some expressed feeling like they had to put their own aspirations on hold,
Okay.
to prioritize the relationship.
Yeah.
And that led to some feelings of resentment or unfulfillment.
Right, because they felt like they were giving up a part of themselves
Exactly.
to make the relationship work.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's a real spectrum of experiences out there.
Yeah,
It's almost like we're getting this intimate glimpse
totally.
into all these different realities
Yes.
of what early marriage can look like.
I love that. And that's why these conversations are so valuable, because there's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Absolutely.
But by hearing these different perspectives,
Yes,
we can understand those potential joys and challenges so much better.
exactly.
And ultimately make more informed choices for ourselves.
For sure.
So what are some things couples can do to set themselves up for success? Like, what are some practical strategies that can help them create a fulfilling and lasting partnership?
Well, we've already talked about communication, but it goes beyond just like sharing your feelings.
Yeah, okay.
It's about creating a shared vision for the future,
Oh, okay.
setting clear expectations, and actively working together to achieve those goals.
So it's like creating a roadmap for your journey together.
Exactly.
And making sure both partners feel heard and that their dreams are acknowledged.
Yes. And that roadmap may need to be adjusted along the way.
Right.
Because life happens.
Sure.
So it's about being adaptable and willing to revisit those conversations
Okay.
as your individual needs and priorities evolve.
That makes a lot of sense. This is all so insightful, but I feel like we've only scratched the surface
Yeah, we have.
of this really complex topic. Are you ready to dive a little deeper
I am.
and explore some more specific strategies
Let's do it.
and insights?
I'm excited. One thing that often gets overlooked is the power of setting goals, both individually and as a couple.
Oh, that's a great point. It's so easy to get swept up in the we when you're first married. But how can couples make sure they're also nurturing their own individual me?
Well, it all starts with a conversation.
Okay.
Sit down together and really dig deep into what each of you wants to achieve,
Okay.
both personally and professionally.
Okay.
Maybe one partner dreams of starting a business,
Right.
while the other yearns to travel the world. The key is to create space for both those visions
I love that.
to coexist.
It's like having a vision board party,
Yes.
but for your individual goals.
Exactly.
And then you figure out how to weave them together
Right.
into this shared tapestry.
Yeah. And once you have a clear picture of those individual aspirations, then you can start brainstorming shared goals that align with your values as a couple. Maybe it's buying a home together,
Right.
starting a family, or even launching that business as a team.
I love that. It's like you're creating this incredible synergy
Yeah,
where your individual dreams kind of fuel this collective ambition.
exactly.
But let's be real, life isn't always a perfectly aligned vision board.
Right.
How do you handle those bumps in the road when those individual goals clash with the realities of, married life?
Well, that's where communication and compromise come in. It's about recognizing that sometimes you might have to make temporary sacrifices
Okay.
to support your partner's dreams.
Right.
Maybe one partner needs to work longer hours while the other focuses on a personal project.
Right.
Or you have to delay a vacation to save for a down payment on a house.
It sounds like early marriage requires a lot of flexibility
It does.
and a willingness to adapt to each other's changing needs.
For sure. And remember those individual goals we talked about.
Yeah.
they might shift and evolve over time too.
Oh, yeah?
What felt important at 22 might look totally different at 27.
Absolutely.
So that's why it's so important to have those regular check-ins,
Okay.
maybe quarterly or even annually,
Yeah.
to kind of revisit those goals and make sure you're both still on the same page.
It's like those regular check-ins or these mini relationship tune-ups. Just making sure everything is running smoothly.
Exactly.
And making adjustments where needed.
Exactly.
But let's talk about finances, because that's something that often goes hand in hand with early marriage.
Yes.
How can couples navigate the financial pressures
Yeah.
that come with building a life together?
Financial strain is definitely a major challenge for a lot of young couples,
Right,
and it can be a huge source of stress and conflict.
for sure.
One of the most effective strategies is to create a joint budget
Okay.
early on. This helps you get a clear understanding of your combined income, your expenses,
Right.
and your financial goals.
So it's not just about splitting the bills.
Right.
It's about working together to
Yeah.
create this financial roadmap
Exactly.
that aligns with your shared vision.
Exactly. And even though you're building a life together,
Yeah.
you don't necessarily have to merge all of your finances.
Oh, that's a good point.
Some couples find it really helpful to maintain separate accounts for personal spending, while also having a joint account for shared expenses, like rent,
Okay.
utilities, groceries.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It allows for that individual freedom, but also that sense of shared responsibility.
Exactly.
So beyond budgeting, are there any other practical things couples can do to ease that financial burden of early marriage?
Well, one strategy is to prioritize paying down any high-interest debt,
Okay,
like credit cards or student loans.
makes sense.
This frees up more of your income for savings and long-term investments.
Right, it's like getting rid of those financial anchors that are
Yeah.
weighing you down.
Exactly.
But what about those big ticket items that most young couples dream of, like buying a home or starting a family?
Yeah.
How can they make those goals feel attainable when they're just starting out?
I think it's all about setting realistic expectations and creating a plan.
Okay.
If homeownership is a goal, then research first-time homebuyer programs
Right.
and start saving for a down payment as early as possible. If starting a family is on the horizon, then research childcare options.
Right.
And factor those costs into your budget.
Yeah.
The key is to be proactive and informed so you're not caught off guard
Yeah, that's good advice.
by the financial realities of these big decisions.
Don't let those dreams intimidate you. Just break them down into manageable steps.
Exactly.
And start chipping away at them.
Exactly.
But I want to get back to those real-life couples you interviewed.
Okay.
Can you share some specific examples of how they navigated these financial challenges
Sure.
and what insights they might have for our listeners?
Yeah, so one couple we spoke with, Sarah and James, were both working entry-level jobs when they got married.
Okay.
They were determined to buy a home,
Okay.
but they knew they had to be strategic about their finances.
Right.
So they set a strict budget, they lived below their means, and they even took on some side hustles to boost their savings.
Wow. Talk about dedication.
Right.
Did it pay off?
They did.
Off.
After 3 years of disciplined saving, they were able to purchase their first home.
That's great.
And they said that having that shared goal and supporting each other through the financial sacrifices was so bonding.
Yeah.
It really solidified their commitment to each other and made the achievement even sweeter.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah,
It shows that even with limited resources, you can achieve those big dreams
you can.
when you're working together as a team.
Exactly.
But I'm curious, did you talk to any couples who faced any major setbacks?
We did?
Like financial setbacks?
Yes. Another couple, Emily and David, were hit hard by unexpected medical bills
Oh, no.
shortly after they got married.
Oh, wow.
And it's just threw their carefully crafted budget into disarray,
Yeah,
and it put a real strain on their relationship.
understandably.
They admitted that their initial reaction was to blame each other
Oh,
for overspending,
that's tough.
which only made the situation worse.
Of course. That never helps.
It doesn't.
So how did they manage to pull through that?
Well, they realized they needed to shift their mindset
Okay.
from blame to
I
collaboration.
like that.
Yeah, so they sought financial counseling together.
Okay.
They learned to communicate more openly about their money anxieties,
Right.
and they created a revised budget that addressed their new reality.
So they turned that potential breaking point
It did.
into an opportunity to strengthen their bond
Yes,
and learn some valuable financial skills.
exactly. And that's such a powerful takeaway.
Yeah.
For any couple facing those financial challenges,
right.
it's about remembering you're on the same team
Yes.
and approaching the situation as partners, not adversaries.
Absolutely. I love that this has been so insightful.
I'm glad.
We've covered so much ground from setting goals and navigating financial hurdles to the importance of communication and compromise.
Yeah.
But before we move on to some more specific strategies and tips,
Okay.
I want to circle back to the emotional aspect of early marriage.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier the challenge of balancing we and me.
Can you elaborate on that a bit
Yes,
more?
sure. I think one of the biggest pitfalls of early marriage is the potential for one or both partners to feel like they've sacrificed their individuality.
Okay.
And this can manifest in different ways.
Okay.
Maybe one partner feels pressure to conform to their spouse's interests
Right.
or social circle, or maybe they feel like their own personal growth has been stunted.
Right. So it's like finding that sweet spot.
Yes.
Where you're supporting each other's dreams, but also staying true to yourselves.
Exactly. You don't have to become clones of each other to
Yeah.
have a successful marriage.
I love that.
In fact, embracing those differences and encouraging each other's unique passions can actually make your bond even stronger.
I love that. It's like saying, I love you for who you are.
Right.
And I'm excited to see you grow and evolve as an individual.
Exactly.
But how can couples ensure that they're both getting that space to nurture their individuality
Yeah.
within the context of marriage?
I think it comes down to carving out time for those individual pursuits.
Whether it's taking a solo trip,
Okay.
pursuing a hobby, or just having some dedicated me time each week.
So like creating a little pocket of space within the
Exactly.
to recharge and reconnect with your own passions.
Yes, and this isn't selfish.
Right.
It's essential.
Yeah.
When both partners feel fulfilled individually,
Yeah.
it strengthens the foundation of the relationship as a whole.
Totally. This is all so insightful. We've explored the financial and emotional landscape of early marriage.
We have.
We've learned from both successful couples and those who face challenges.
Right.
And we've uncovered these practical strategies for building a thriving partnership.
For sure.
But I'm curious to hear about those couples who really made it work,
Yeah.
who built these thriving partnerships
Yeah.
while also achieving remarkable things individually.
Right.
Can you share some of their success stories and maybe what key ingredients contributed to their happiness?
Absolutely.
Right.
One couple that stands out is Maria and Alex.
Okay.
They met in college, got married right after graduation, and they both had these really ambitious career goals.
Okay.
Maria dreamt of becoming a doctor, while Alex wanted to launch his own tech startup.
Wow.
They knew it wouldn't be easy, but they were committed to supporting each other's dreams every step of the way.
That sounds like a recipe for success.
Right.
Did they have any specific strategies for balancing those demanding careers with their relationship?
Yeah, they were incredibly intentional about communication.
Okay.
They had these weekly check-in meetings
Okay.
where they would discuss their schedules, upcoming deadlines, any potential conflicts.
Oh, wow.
And they also made a pact to prioritize quality time together,
Okay.
even if it was just a simple dinner date after a long day.
So carving out those moments of connection amidst the chaos.
Yes. And they understood that nurturing their relationship was just as important as achieving their individual goals.
Right.
And they also had this remarkable ability to celebrate each other's wins, no
Oh,
matter how big or small.
I love that.
Like when Maria got accepted into medical school, Alex threw her a surprise party.
And when Alex secured funding for his startup, Maria was his biggest cheerleader.
Their story is so heartwarming.
Yeah,
It really highlights the power of mutual support and encouragement
it does.
in a relationship.
Yeah.
But let's be real.
Okay.
Not all couples are naturally wired to be each other's biggest cheerleaders.
Right.
What advice would you give to couples who maybe struggle with competition or jealousy within their relationship?
It's important to remember that your partner's success is not a threat to your own.
Right.
In fact, it should be a source of pride and inspiration.
Yeah.
If you're feeling envious or resentful, it's crucial to explore those feelings
Okay.
and communicate them openly with your partner.
So turning those negative emotions into an opportunity for growth
Exactly.
and understanding.
Exactly. And sometimes it might be helpful to seek professional guidance
Okay.
from a therapist or counselor
Right.
who can help you navigate those complex emotions
That's a good point.
and develop healthier communication patterns.
It's okay to ask for help.
It is when you need it.
Yeah.
In fact, it's a sign of strength
It is.
and a commitment to investing in your relationship.
Absolutely. This conversation has been so enlightening. We've delved into the financial and emotional complexities
Yeah.
of early marriage.
We've learned from both successful couples
Yes.
and those who have faced
Right.
challenges, and we've uncovered practical strategies for building a thriving partnership.
For sure.
But I know there's still so much more to explore.
There is.
Are you ready to dive into some more specific tips and tools
I am.
that can empower couples to create fulfilling and successful early marriages?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the big picture stuff,
Yeah.
but what about some more like tangible things
Okay.
that couples can do
Yeah.
to really strengthen their bond and navigate those like everyday hurdles?
Yeah. One of the most effective tools I recommend is establishing these regular relationship check-ins.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Like a mini date night.
Yeah. Think of it like a mini date night, but with a focus on intentional conversation.
Okay, I love it. But what do you actually talk about during these check-ins?
You know, it's about creating that safe space
Right.
to discuss anything and everything that's on your mind,
Okay.
from those little annoyances
Yeah.
to bigger concerns about finances or intimacy or even individual goals.
Right.
You might even want to have a few prompts or questions
Okay.
prepared in advance,
Yeah.
just to kind of get the conversation flowing.
So it's like having a structured agenda, but with the flexibility to go wherever the conversation leads.
Exactly. The key is to approach those check-ins with an open mind
Right.
and a willingness to really, truly listen to your partner's perspective.
And not get defensive.
Exactly. Avoid getting defensive or turning it into a blame game.
Right.
Instead, focus on understanding each other's needs and finding solutions together.
I love that that sounds like a great way to prevent those small issues from snowballing into these huge conflicts.
Yeah, for sure.
But what about those times when disagreements are just like inevitable? How can couples learn to fight fair
Yeah,
and resolve conflicts constructively?
that is a crucial skill
Yeah,
for any relationship.
for sure.
But it's especially important in those early years of marriage
Right.
when you're still figuring out each other's communication style.
Totally. One technique I've heard of is that speaker-listener technique.
Oh, yes. That's a great one.
Have you heard of that?
Yes.
It's basically where you take turns expressing your thoughts and feelings without interruption.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, so one person speaks while the other listens attentively,
Okay.
without interrupting or offering their own opinions.
Right.
And then you switch roles.
Got it.
And this ensures that both partners feel heard and validated.
That's so important.
It is feel heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it really helps de-escalate the argument
Yeah.
and prevent those misunderstandings.
Okay, so beyond communication, are there any other practical tips for just like maintaining that strong and healthy connection
Yeah.
in early marriage?
I think prioritizing quality time together is so essential.
Okay.
And I'm not just talking about like sitting on the couch watching Netflix.
Right.
I'm talking about intentional activities that actually foster connection and intimacy.
Okay, so like planning date nights,
Yes.
trying new hobbies together,
Exactly.
or even just taking a walk in the park and talking.
Exactly. It's about making that conscious effort to create shared experiences and memories that really strengthen your bond.
I love that. And don't forget about those small gestures of affection.
Yes.
Like leaving a love note or making breakfast in bed
Oh, yeah.
or just giving a spontaneous hug.
Those little things can go such a long way.
They really do.
And keeping that spark alive.
Yeah. It's a good reminder that sometimes the simplest gestures have the biggest impact.
Absolutely.
But okay, let's talk about something that's often a taboo topic, but incredibly important.
Okay.
Intimacy.
Yes.
How can couples navigate those kind of evolving dynamics of physical and emotional intimacy?
In those early years of marriage.
It's a conversation that so many couples shy away from.
Yeah.
But it's so crucial to be open and honest
Right.
about your needs and your desires.
Yeah.
And remember, intimacy isn't just about sex.
Okay.
It's about feeling connected and desired,
Yeah.
but physically and emotionally.
Right. So it's about fostering that sense of closeness and vulnerability with
Exactly.
each other.
Yes. Make time for those intimate conversations.
Right.
Cuddle up on the couch, hold hands, go for romantic walks. And when it comes to the physical intimacy,
Yeah.
be open to exploring what feels good for both of you.
Right.
Don't be afraid to try new things. Communicate your desires and be respectful of each other's boundaries.
That's such good advice. It's about making intimacy a priority
Yeah,
and approaching it with that sense of curiosity and playfulness.
for sure.
But I want to shift gears for a moment
Okay.
and talk about something that can sometimes put a strain on those early marriages,
Okay.
family dynamics. How can couples navigate the complexities of like blending families
Yeah.
and setting healthy boundaries
Well,
with their in-laws?
it can be a really delicate dance,
Yeah,
especially when you're merging those two different family cultures and traditions.
for sure.
The key is to approach those relationships with respect and open communication.
Right.
And remember, you and your partner are building your own family unit now.
Right.
And it's important to establish boundaries that protect your space and your autonomy.
So it's about finding that balance between honoring your families
Yeah,
and creating your own unique family traditions.
exactly. And that might require having some difficult
Oh,
conversations
right.
about expectations,
Right.
holiday plans, even financial support.
Yeah.
But it's so important to present that united front
Yeah.
with your partner and to communicate your decisions really clearly and respectfully.
That makes sense. It's about creating that strong foundation for your own family
Yeah.
while also maintaining those healthy relationships.
Yeah,
With your extended families.
for sure.
This has been such a valuable deep dive. We've explored so many different facets of early marriage,
Yeah.
from communication and conflict resolution
Right.
to finances, intimacy, family dynamics.
Yeah. It's been a lot.
But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to this idea of personal growth.
Okay.
How can couples ensure that they're both continuing to evolve as individuals,
Yeah.
even as they're building this life together?
It's so important to create space for those individual pursuits,
Okay.
whether it's a hobby or a career aspiration or even just a personal development goal.
Right.
Encourage each other to chase those dreams,
Yeah.
even if it means temporarily sacrificing some couple time.
So it's like recognizing that personal growth isn't selfish.
It's not.
It actually strengthens the relationship in the
Yeah,
long run.
it really does. When both partners feel fulfilled and stimulated individually,
Yeah.
it brings this renewed energy and vitality to the relationship.
I love that that's a powerful message to end on. But before we say goodbye,
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought to ponder.
okay, I'm all ears.
Okay, so imagine you could go back in time
Okay.
and give your younger selves
Yeah.
just one piece of advice
Okay.
about navigating those early years of marriage.
Okay.
What would it be?
Oh, that's such a great question. Um, if I could whisper one secret to those embarking on this journey,
Yeah.
I would say never underestimate the power of those small everyday acts of love and kindness.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that those grand gestures are wonderful, but it's the little things
Yes.
that really nourish a relationship
It's the little things.
over time.
Yes, those stolen kisses, the heartfelt compliments,
Yeah.
the shared laughter over those inside jokes.
Yeah.
Those are the moments that really weave the fabric of a lasting and fulfilling marriage.
Well, folks, there you have it. Early marriage is a unique path,
It is.
filled with both challenges and rewards.
Sure.
It's about going into it with eyes wide open.
A willingness to grow both individually and together.
Yes.
And a commitment to nurturing those small but mighty acts of love
Absolutely.
that build that strong and resilient bond.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive
Of course.
into the fascinating world of early marriage. We hope you've gained some valuable insights
Yeah.
and are feeling inspired to embark on your own journey of love, growth, and partnership.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep those conversations flowing, those dreams alive, and those sparks flying.
Yes.